Well, and let's take an example. Let's use Apple as an example. So Apple, biggest company by market cap in the world up until recently. Apple's 20% off their 52-week low, but they're also 20% off their 52-week high. And Apple had to respond to the tariffs by proposing moving some infrastructure to India. And the costs associated with developing that infrastructure are going to be significant. I've listened to some people who've said it's not going to be a stretch to say that iPhones may be somewhat more difficult to come by over the next few years as Apple withdraws from China and starts to increase production in India. This is no small feat. And you can see that in their share price, right? So we're talking, Microsoft's back near all-time highs. NVIDIA is certainly just a few percent off all-time highs. But Apple is the other case. And, you can see if things get bad, how it can be reflected in share price.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's all fair because to me, the ultimate pain point of this entire trade or the tariff negotiation process, it all boils down to the impact on supply chains and prices because we all saw what happened in 2020 where you basically shut down global supply chains for a period of time and the ensuing impact on prices that consumers experience. So you can think of what's going on, or at least what was proposed from a tariff perspective, as an actual engineered version of what happened in 2020, which would be somewhat catastrophic at the most extreme levels for both the U.S. economy and otherwise. But when you have it impacting a firm like Apple, who is so far-reaching, like Matt said, up until just very recently, they were the largest company. That type of stuff does scare me because regardless of whether or not Apple ends up feeling the burden of those higher prices and has to shift manufacturing, the perception in the markets right now is that that's a likelihood. Maybe not 100% certainty, but there is a very large possibility that the cost of iPhones to produce them will be going up. The price that consumers will have to pay will be going up. And oh, by the way, the availability, the sheer number of iPhones that will be produced will be a little bit lower. So the impact that Apple as a company can have on broader market indices should not be understated as well. Right.
Yeah. And it just shows kind of the alternate reality if things do go sideways or if companies start to need to shift production. There can be some significant ramifications from a price standpoint.